Hello and welcome to Reality Recapped, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and it's through that lens that I watch these shows and make my comments. Of course, I have not met with any of the people on this show, so everything that I state is simply an opinion. My channel is a little bit of education and a whole lot of snark. This week, I'm going to be recapping Season 2, Episode 5, Wife 3 Hits Sin City.
I believed in living this lifestyle. It just makes each of us better.
I expected there would be other wives. I think there's room for everybody.
I like sister wives. I wanted the family. I didn't just want the man.
The wives work together. I want to be a part of that team.
Love should be multiplied, not divided.
Taking Christine to Vegas, mostly because we just need a trip away, and we wanted to actually have a trip with her kids and nobody else.
Going back and revisiting these earlier seasons, I'm always surprised by how soon things are happening that I missed the first time around. And one example is him referring to their children as Christine's children. I didn't pick up on him doing that until much later in the season, and it almost seemed as a way of distancing himself from the children of the mother that he wasn't getting along with. If we think back, I don't know that he's ever referred to the children that he shares with Robin as Robin's kids. And once I go through the rest of this season, I will make sure to keep an eye on that. So why is he referring to different wives and their children in different ways? And that might be an indication that he has stronger feelings for one wife over another. Obviously, there's something different going on in each dynamic. We could also argue maybe it's because some of Robin's children are not biologically his. So maybe he's hypersensitive to the fact that he doesn't want those kids to not feel like they're his. So maybe that is an explanation for it. I suspect that that could have potentially been what started it, but he also does favor Robin. So both could be happening at the same time.
I love Vegas.
Vegas is close.
I love Vegas.
It's exciting.
And I love Vegas.
And it's inexpensive.
And I love it.
So we've got the 6-hour drive to Las Vegas. Since it's snowing here, we'll be very glad to be down there where it is not snowing.
The reason why it was important to me to have Kody and I just take our kids, it's important to establish that, yes, we have a big family, but we also have individual separate families. And it's good to connect.
Is anyone else surprised that they chose Las Vegas as a place to go vacation with kids? It just doesn't seem like a natural choice. But of course, all of the reasons that they give, it's driving distance, it's inexpensive. I'm sure that the show is getting the rooms comped because they're going to have national coverage. But it just seems like a weird choice. And if the show is paying for everything, my God, go to Hawaii, go to Fiji, go to, where else can you go? I don't know. We can generate a list, you guys, all of us together.
I love Vegas.
Well, good, because that's where you're going for vacation. So they're driving. Anyone else wonder which car they're going to take? Kody isn't taking his sports car convertible because he's got so many children on this trip. So Mary's cleaning his car out because she's going to use it while he's out of town.
If you want, you can take the suit to the dry cleaners for me.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to mess with the dry cleaners this weekend.
You're not going to mess with the dry cleaners for me?
I'm not messing with the dry cleaners. I have too much partying to do.
The wives quickly go into how happy they are that Kody's leaving and they're finally going to be able to have some fun without him around.
Right now, Christine just needed that time away. And when I found out they were going, I was like, cool, I've got a weekend of freedom to play, to do whatever it is I want to do.
When Cat's away, the dog will play, the mice will play. Anyway, when he's gone, I'm playing, and I get to play in his car.
Just another benefit of polygamy. When one wife needs him to go on vacation, you get to use his very teeny tiny sports car. And I know some of you remember the last trip he sent his family on where the car sounded horrible when it left the driveway. And even though he commented, that doesn't sound good, he still sent his family off in this vehicle. I bet because this happened so recently, Kody's going to be extra careful on this trip. He's going to make sure the car is running well. He's going to check the fluids, and he's only going to go if it sounds like the car is in perfect working order. He's learned nothing.
I was the last wife, and I'd been the last wife for 16 years. And so when other women would talk about a new wife coming into the family, how hard it was, I just thought they were being ridiculous. When he started courting Robin, and I started to feel threatened, I started to feel abandoned, I started to feel insecure and not special, and I started to feel like that. And it was a shock. And it shocked me that he felt like he had to get married again. It was a shock. I'm like, what, suddenly I'm not enough? And you go through kind of a mourning process because what you knew, it suddenly, it just didn't feel like it existed anymore. It was really difficult.
I believe what struck me when I first watched this series was how vocal the women were about their needs and about how they were feeling. This, more than anything, changed my opinion about this lifestyle because I felt like it looked like there was equality in the relationships and that it wasn't just about the husband having multiple wives. It was also about each wife getting their needs met. And they talk a lot about that. Of course, part of the problem with this is that you can be very in touch with your own needs and you can communicate them clearly to your partner. But if your partner is unwilling to meet your needs or modify their behavior so that your needs get met, or if emotionally they're just unable to do that, you can be the best communicator on the planet. But if it's falling on deaf ears and you're noticing nothing is changing, over time, you may end up becoming less communicative because what's the point? You're having a conversation with somebody who can't even hear what you're saying. What I'm struck by with Christine is her willingness to continue to try to communicate with Kody up until season 17. I think she did a really good job of continually telling him what she needed and staying vulnerable with him. And I'm sure she felt extremely rejected when he wouldn't follow through with really basic things like spending time at her house.
I've been looking forward to this trip forever. I'm way excited.
Thanks for this. I appreciate it.
This trip was also very important because Christine and I needed to move ourselves away from the whole thing with the investigation and all that stuff.
Just put it on a back burner for a while.
Needed a trip for a long time. I mean, she's had a baby.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of change in the family.
Truly,
and she completely, like, her life is absorbed into mine. And I imagine maybe you guys feel the same way. I mean, when she's gone, I'm like, my whole world falls apart. I'm like, what? Savannah has to have her hair combed before school?
Oh, Janelle, this is why I think she was viewed so negatively. I really like Janelle. I think I understand what she's trying to say. It just, the optics don't look so great with this. But I think what she's attempting to say is that Christine fills in a way that you don't even realize the extent of everything that she's doing.
Truly is really like been a big change for her. And when you're older, I've heard that it's harder to have babies.
Robin is not that much younger than Christine. I think at the 7 or 8 years younger, maybe. The part that Robin isn't mentioning is that Christine has postpartum depression. And I don't know if the other wives were aware of that while it was going on, or if that was just something Christine shared later on.
When we're driving and we're traveling, there's times where I'm just giving ultimatums. Behave or no what game and no slug bug because I don't want hitting.
I had to play this scene for you because it's so funny. It's so reminiscent of long car trips as a kid in a family. And I love Christine trying to be really serious and then laying down the law and she's like laughing as she's doing it.
And no.
That is so me too. I would be the same exact way. Okay, so there's 2 games they can't play. The what game, which I have never heard of. Do any of you know what the what game is? And can you let me know in the comment section? I would really appreciate it. I do know the slug bug game, and I freaking hated that. So if you don't know, the slug bug game is where you scan the road for any VW bugs, and you yell out the color of that bug. You say, punch buggy blue if the car is blue, and then you punch the unfortunate child sitting next to you. It hurts. It's awful. And fortunately, I had a Christine in the car who put a stop to that, but I definitely did get hit a couple times before the game, the quote unquote game, was over. And sometimes people just keep playing, they play it for the whole trip. So like if you take a nap and your brother happens to see, I don't know, a red buggy coming down the way and decides to punch you while you're sleeping, yeah, that's part of the game, I guess. So I totally support her rules. And I would not want to play that game now, nor did I want to play it then.
Flying is expensive.
Flying is expensive.
Yeah.
We got to drive everywhere we go. You know, if you've got a $300 ticket per kid, that's a $2,000 trip versus $500
600,
trip.
500, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to drive.
That's why we like Vegas, is it's fairly close.
It's always nice to have time along with Kody. It's always nice to have him there. I'm not going to say that it's not great, because it is.
I got you a macadamia nut.
But it's also really fun to sit there and have your me time. I think me time and alone time is super awesome.
Well, you don't have any me time now, do you, Robin? Now that there's no other wives in the picture and you only have Kody to yourself, your me time has shrunk significantly.
Kody is a little work, but he's not a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, Janelle. It's so funny. He is a lot of work. He is a lot of work. He's super annoying. Janelle's like trying to convince herself he's not that. I mean, he's not a ton of work. He's not horrible. He's horrible, Janelle. He's exhausting.
And he's fun to have around, but I don't know what it is about just being home with just my kids.
I couldn't imagine actually having a husband around all the time. It'd be kind of weird.
Someone needs to take Robin to the hospital because clearly she has amnesia. Weren't you married to one man for 8 years? All by yourself? So you should know what that's like.
We're looking at Vegas now, baby. Oh, hold on, check it out. Oh, here you go. Here you go.
The producers are really trying to figure out why the heck did Kody take his family to Las Vegas?
Las Vegas has a huge Christian population.
I was not expecting him to say that. Let's see if Christine can come up with a better reason that they all went to Vegas.
It just has a lot of options, and I like options. We've never been to Lowe's Lake Las Vegas before.
I'd never even known about Lake Las Vegas. Hey kids, are you impressed or what?
Yeah, this is really nice.
We're
not dressed nice enough to be.
We're a half hour away from downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The idea that it was going to be this nice was, well, it's off season. So we had this really good deal.
Plus, you're on a television show that is showing this resort in Las Vegas to the whole nation. So I really think that this is all just producer driven. They figured out where they were going to go. You have to get permits to film. It's a whole process. And I just wish they would have gone to someplace better. I wish they would have been able to it's only the second season, right? And they will get trips eventually. So I'm looking forward to the family being able to go on more trips. And I'm happy that they were able to go on this one too.
I'm Kody Brown family to check in. And when we get there, it's very quiet. There's not a lot of people. We go to our room.
Holy cow.
It was a flippin' villa.
This is huge.
The kids went nuts. They went ape. I know they've been sitting in a car for hours and hours, but they went insane in kind of a respectful way. And I was just giggling constantly. It's like, nice, you guys excited?
Let's see what they've got. Let's go.
She runs a war. Hey, Dad? The next morning we woke up, and because we got there at nighttime, we kind of wanted to scope the place out a little bit. Oh, Kody, is it cold? Do I need more of a coat for her?
It's cool. I don't think it's cold.
So we went out and kind of walked the grounds.
And we come up to the lake Las Vegas. And I'm like, wow, man, I know how to skip stones here. I got a very flat rock. We're going to see how well I can skip. Oh, about 6 times. Woo-hoo-hoo! You have to throw it so that it spins. I am a pro rock skipper growing out on the farm.
Oh! I didn't know that he was a pro rock skipper. If I had known this before we got married, it would have been a done deal.
Wow. Nothing was walking on the water.
Kody is sweet with each one of us when we're all together, but then when it's just you and him and your kids, they get to see that marriage and the strength of that marriage a lot better and a lot clearer because they're more connected when they're separate from the rest of us.
Robin really has a lot to say for being the newest addition to the family, and I've mentioned that before. I think at this point they've been together for what? 4 months at the least and 8 months at the absolute maximum, but I'm pretty sure it's closer to 4. And she's telling the viewers that for her children to feel really connected and to see how much Kody loves her, they have to spend time alone and separate, which flies in the face of everything else that they've said about polygamy, because it's all this, we're all the communal and we're all together. And maybe this is part of her justification for getting Kody kind of to herself is, no, this is really important for our children to have alone time so that they can see how much you love me. This isn't even, I don't even want to spend that much time with you, but the kids need to see how much you adore me as their mother. So spend more time at my house. Logistically, this creates a huge problem because there's 4 wives, there's 7 days in a week, and there's a lot of children. And if he's spending things separately like that, then you're not getting to see your dad for 3 days out of every 7. I think it's more important for him to be around everybody and all of the children so that they're not seeing their father for days on end, so that the other kids can feel secure while he's around. That does not wash. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The real important thing is that each individual relationship in the marriage gets nurtured.
And I agree that each wife needs to have alone time with Kody, but that's not what Robyn is saying. So I think this is a little bit of a peek into her explanations around why they have to spend time apart. It's funny because she's so focused on, like, I love polygamy, I want to have sister wives, I want to have close relationships. But she is the one who's talking about segmenting off so that her kids can see how loved she is. And that if they don't segment off, their kids can't tell, they're not as connected to Kody. And considering how large the family is, the logistics of doing that, they're not going to get a lot of that time. So it makes me really wonder about Robyn and her philosophies, because this flies in the face, I think, of everything that she says about polygamy in other times.
Cars. Who wants to go with me?
Me.
Kody and Christine took their kids to Vegas, and
So we decided we wanted to have some fun while they were gone, and we took us and the kids that were left behind bowling. Who wants to go with Robyn? Wow!
yeah, coming into this family for my kids has definitely been different for them. It's definitely been completely a culture change for them. I mean, they went from a monogamous home with a father and a mother and them, and now they're a group of 21 with 3 other mothers and a father that's there who has a lot of other people that he needs to connect with as well. But it's very, very positive for them.
Yeah, it definitely worked out great for Robyn and her children. I don't know how great it worked out for the rest of the family.
Dayton says all the time how much he loves this family.
Get us right. Hey, roll it.
They love the bowling. The kids loved bowling.
You were using bumpers.
I
should have used bumpers.
I tied for score with you.
But you used bumpers.
It doesn't matter.
We
used
tied
the
bumpers.
Scores. It's all in the numbers.
When you're older than 10, it doesn't count
I should have done
if you use the bumpers.
It doesn't surprise me at all that Robyn will use bumpers and then really annoy Mary, who is super competitive and wants to win, but plays by the rules, I think. I think Mary tries to play by the rules. I think Robyn is someone who's okay with kind of using manipulations to get what she wants. Obviously, this is a very lighthearted situation, so you'd have to be careful to draw conclusions about Robyn. But with everything else that we know about her, I think it's pretty safe to say that she is willing to manipulate to get what she wants, even if it's not a fair playing field. She's okay with that. And again, I wouldn't say this without having the other information that we have about Robyn. You can't deduce because someone is willing to cheat in a card game or in bowling that they are inherently dishonest. But if it stacks up in that way with additional data, then, you know, it's okay to go ahead and draw that conclusion.
Mary has impressed me the most because she has a strike and I don't.
Oh my God!
We leave this very tense bowling match and head back to Las Vegas.
So we decided to go to Madame Tussauds. So I've always wanted to go there. It's been like this, it's amazing to me what they can do with wax.
Two of our more favorite figures right there.
Brad Pitt one freaked me out. Yeah, they have a wedding dress you can wear and get married to George Clooney. It was a little bit
creepy.
Yeah, we're not into that.
But that's perfect. Wax museums should be just a little bit creepy.
The kids loved it. They loved it.
I've never been to Madame Tussauds. It kind of creeps me out because I remember being a really young kid and seeing this movie, The House of Wax, with Vincent Price. I won't give away the ending, but if you enjoy old movies and you enjoy suspense, this is definitely a fun, creepy movie to watch.
People are upset, I think, that we have brought these children into this relationship and they didn't have any choice. They didn't have a choice to live polygamy. But every child who is born is brought into a family with those parents' ideology. No child has a choice of what they're brought into. And hopefully, we have raised our kids to be able to choose what it is that they want.
I'm mad. I'm like, we are going to raise our children according to our beliefs. They wouldn't be our beliefs if we didn't raise our children according to what we believe how the universe works.
I think we've raised our children extremely open-mindedly, though. We've never pushed our dogma on our children. We've simply presented to them that this is a better way. I try to teach my kids specifically, like 10 Commandments. You cannot harm another. It's wrong. On the other hand, you get to choose what life you lead. I hope you choose one that makes you happy and makes God happy.
It's so rare that I'm able to compliment Kody, and I finally can on this instance. I do think that he did a very good job of instilling his belief system into his kids and then allowing them the freedom to choose what did or did not work for them. This is a very difficult feat to achieve, especially if you really believe that what you are practicing is the best way possible to live your life and you're more connected to God as a result of it. It's really hard to allow your kids to go in different directions. And I really applaud the fact that they were able to do that.
Grumpy. All right, let's see. I'm hungry.
Okay. Hey guys, I need your help.
Okay, we're in our second day in Vegas and the kids are having a great time. So we're eating inside the house to save a little bit of money.
Yeah, I gotta save some money.
All right. Oh, is that my lemon?
Usually I like to give a substantial breakfast for the kids, but there was only a microwave and I don't have microwave skills because they actually shoot harmful chemicals.
Christine doesn't have a microwave at her own house, so using a microwave at our hotel was just not functional. So we had cold cereal, which isn't completely unhealthy, and we
yogurt. Yogurt is
we had
healthy.
A continental breakfast at the hotel.
Juice. I don't know how to make an egg in the microwave.
Who knows how to make an egg in the
Robin. She told me how later.
Really?
You can make eggs in the microwave. I wouldn't want to serve that to my kids anyway because it has harmful radiation in microwaves. You know, something like that.
Well, let me get a drink of orange juice here, and then I'm going to make a phone call to home. You guys take your time, okay?
Hey guys, Dad's on the phone. Can you quiet down, please?
And I was able to get a hold of Mary, talk to her for a few minutes, just talk about what was going on, what we were doing, and say hi, connect. So you didn't get that position. All right, tell me about that.
When Kody called me that day, I had to break the news to him that I had been declined for this position that I had applied for. I'd been looking for work for a while since I had been let go of my other job.
You know what? I'm standing here on just the ugliest hill you've ever seen, but I'm looking over quite the beautiful scene of Henderson, Nevada. What a trip.
I'm not a bad person. I just have sister wives and I get fired for it. Pisses me off. This is exactly why polygamists hide who they are. This is exactly why. Because if I had gone on hiding who I was for the rest of my life, I would have kept that job.
I don't think Mary ever was able to return to that kind of work that she was doing before. She did end up doing LuLaRoe, and she's made quite a bit off of that. She also has her Airbnb. So she has found other ways to work and find fulfillment. But it would be hard to have gone to school for something that you really cared about and for that to be taken away.
We decided to go on a boat ride.
The The boat trip was a highlight for me. I absolutely loved it.
Our children have grown up as a whole family.
Oh, yeah, the kids don't sit there. Logan doesn't sit there and go, oh, Dad's off with Christine and her kids again.
The public is going, wait a minute, you've got a father of 16. He is so stretched thin. How are these kids actually getting what they need out of a father? I mean, that's what they're saying.
Kody has the same 24 hours in a day that any other man does.
Right, but he also has multiple wives, which means he's able to have more children than the typical male is going to have. Gwendolyn Brown recapped this episode, and when she recapped it, agreed that he did a good job of making them feel special and seen, which really blew me out of the water. I think Gwen really wanted him to be a good, active dad. And sometimes when we want something really badly, we convince ourselves things weren't as bad as they actually were. If we contrast what she says about this episode with her watching season 17, she's watching Kody interact with he and Robin's youngest kids who just came back from their first day of school post-COVID. And he's, going through their lunchbox and like, oh, did you eat all your food? Oh, look, there's still an apple. You didn't eat your apple. And Gwen became so emotional. And she said, I am so happy that my siblings have an active, engaged father. I did not have that. And I'm really happy that they have it, but I'm really sad that I didn't get it. I think what's happening is there were certain expectations of behavior that were kind of set in the family dynamic. And when Gwen was growing up, it was a completely different expectation of Kody's involvement. And as I explained in other episodes, he is like on the sidelines. He's not actively charging unless he's teaching people how to skip a rock. He doesn't seem to be really like stepping into the parental role, which is why Logan fills in a lot of the time. But this was normalized, and it looked like he preferred his boys over his girls. He would spend more time with them and was more engaged with them. But as a general rule, it seems like he kind of was pretty similar to all of the wives' children at this point. So when Gwen is speaking about this episode, him being a good father and being present, I think her scale is representative of how the wives thought about Kody's involvement at that time. And then Robin came in and there was a different expectation of Kody's involvement. I want to say that I don't think Kody has the capacity to be a really good father. Even the scene that Gwen is talking about, he's misunderstanding what Ariella actually did that day. He's saying that she was so good and there was a girl that was crying and she was upset. Ariella made sure that she was taken care of and protected her. And then the story gets told and it's clear that actually what was going on is the girl was upset because Ariella was annoying her and didn't want to be around her, but Kody didn't catch that. He doesn't have the capacity to be like the engaged good father because he's so self-involved. What Gwen is seeing, I think, is Kody play acting. He knows he needs to film something for the series and the kids came home from school. I don't think he's not engaged any more with them than he is with Gwen. It appears that he is. But I don't think so.
Kody just chooses to use it a little bit differently. He doesn't disappear into his man cave.
He doesn't go golfing.
He doesn't golf. He doesn't do those things. He doesn't have time.
She's very sweet about this. I'm no perfect father, but I do try.
All I can think about is season 17 when he's literally videoing himself in a closet in a McMansion because he's literally hiding out. That's his quote unquote office. So all of this is so funny. And then Janelle also was saying like he would just go off in his sports car and he used that as his office and he would just disappear. Again, this is later on, season 17. So I don't know. That just feels like they're trying to convince themselves that they married this guy who's actually a good father. And Janelle repeats this over and over again, what a great father he is. I don't think he was a great father. I don't think he still is a great father. I don't think he has it in him.
After the boat ride, we decided to have dinner.
Hi, good. How are you?
Well, very romantic.
It was just the two of us.
The day has been wonderful.
The kids have been really good.
Yeah, it's been fun. Christine and I have been married for almost 17 years. And out of those 17 years, we've probably had maybe 3 that struggled.
Yeah, most of it's just been absolute bliss, really. There's been a lot of changes and a lot of new things happening, and we've had quite a change in our relationship. And, the trip helped us to get back together and us to reconnect. But it's not fixed perfect.
It was an investment in our future. When you've got a marriage, it's called investments. You've got to fill that bank account of love.
It's so hard to watch this and know what Christine is going to have to go through and what the other wives are going to end up going through in the upcoming seasons and how poorly they're treated. And I just think how sad that they went through that. And I know she seems so much happier now. And I'm really excited for her that she, at the very least, is out of this dynamic where she's consistently made to feel like she doesn't matter, she's less than, she's ignored. I'm really happy that she walked away. And I think by her doing that, she also liberated everybody else.
This trip was also very important because Christine and I needed to move ourselves away from the whole thing with the investigation and all that stuff.
Just put it on the back burner for a while.
None of it. It's so morally wrong. Yeah, there's stress with a potential threat to your family. And there's a lot of unknown. And when there's an investigation being done, we just needed to be able to unwind.
But I could stay here longer, I think, but I'm still okay to go home tomorrow.
There's good days and there's bad days. There was a time where I really didn't know if doing this was a good move for our family.
When the threat is heavy, you feel like running away.
Yeah, and so I didn't, but no, now I'm very glad that we decided to go public with our lifestyle. I'm very glad we did that.
I think we've changed all of society on some levels.
I think so too. Now I realize that there's, a looming potential threat, but I think that us going forward and us being public and sharing our family, I think it's impacted some people, and there's people that we've met and that have just come up to us and said, thank you for doing this, and we support you, and
it's changed their perspective. It's opened their minds. It's shown them a viewpoint. We've had people come up to us and say, they better leave you alone. You have the most wonderful family. We're trying to show family.
That's it for this week. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, please give it a like. If you have not subscribed, please take a minute to do so. It costs you nothing, and it has a huge impact on my end. Until next time, goodbye.